Concha, the Rhino, written by Shilpi Pradhan, illustrated by Abin Shrestha, and translated by Shannon David. In a vast grassland, there lived a little rhino. His name was Concha. Concha was 2 years old and lived with his mother. He loved to wander about the grassland. His mother would often warn him, "Concha, there are a lot of bad things out there. Be careful, son. Always remember to leave your scent so that you can smell your way back home." He nodded his head. Concha understood, but it was hard for a little rhino to remember everything his mother told him. One afternoon, as the sun was beating down on the grassland, Concha decided to cool himself with a mud bath. Lying in the mud, he flicked off flies with his ears. Suddenly, he heard a strange noise. He twitched his ears to figure out where it was coming from. He had never heard such a sound before. He jumped up from the mud and walked closer to the sound. He walked and walked, but he couldn't make out where the noise was coming from. He looked around and realized that he had walked much farther than he thought. He remembered his mother's words and turned around to walk back home. Then he heard the same sound again. He saw a giant python sliding towards him, and it filled him with fear. He ran and hid behind the tall grasses. He whispered to himself, "That python is going to eat me up. Ma, please save me." He was very scared. He closed his eyes tightly and stayed very still. He waited and waited. Luckily, nothing happened. It was getting dark and Concha knew it was time to go home. He turned around. He looked right, he looked left. He tried to find his scent, but he couldn't smell it anywhere. He ran round and round, but couldn't make out which direction he had come from. He remembered his mother's words again, and he began to cry. "Concha! Concha!" He heard someone calling his name. He twitched his ears. Someone was calling him. He jumped with joy and ran as fast as he could. Thump! Concha landed in a pit. Darkness surrounded him. "Concha! Concha!" He heard his mother calling from above the pit. He felt like crying. "I'm sorry for going too far, Ma. I'm sorry." It was all he could say to his mother. "Don't worry, son. I'll go get some help," she promised him. Concha looked up to the sky. He saw the moon shining brightly. Concha promised himself to be more careful next time. The next morning, Concha woke up to find himself tied up with ropes. He could hear noises all around him. Concha was confused. He didn't know what was happening. Concha tried to struggle free, but it only hurt, so he stopped. After a while, he felt himself being lifted. "Have I been captured?" he thought. He found himself on the ground again. He heard all sorts of strange sounds. "Hurrah! Woohoo!" He could hear claps and whistles. Blinded by bright flashes of light, he could barely see anything clearly. There were hundreds of humans around him. They held up posters with a rhino's photograph. Some of them had even pasted a rhino's photograph on their caps. One of the humans came towards him and touched him gently. Slowly, he turned Concha's head towards the jungle. Concha saw his mother waiting for him behind the trees. These humans had not captured him. They had saved him. Concha ran as fast as he could to his mother. He was safe again. He would never wander so far without leaving his scent ever again. Thank you for reading and listening with us. The story Concha the Rhino was translated by Shen and David and is released to the public under the Creative Commons BY 4.0 license. The original was written by Shilpi Pradhan.